Hello, hello. My name is Kitt. I'm a transformational woman-centered coach who's all about helping women gain the courage and the confidence to own their lives and own their happiness. Today, I'd like to talk about what's blocking your happiness in 2022. And I really want to know if you know the answer to what is blocking your happiness in 2022. Ready to join the conversation? Let's get started. You know, there's a saying that says the only thing in life that is constant is change. And that saying has kept me for many decades along my journey, but it had nothing to do to prepare me for the sea change that took place the past few years and for the changes that are happening right now as we speak. It looks as if massive change and transformation challenge is everywhere. And so, what is a high achieving, mission driven, loving woman to do in times like these? What we do is we face the challenge and we ask ourselves, what is blocking my happiness even in trying times like these? So here's my personal tip number one. It's very important to know what's blocking your happiness right now because as women, how we deal with change and disruptive circumstances shapes our lives and the lives around us. We're caring women. We love our husbands, our parents, our children, our grandchildren. And so it's very important that we be happy, that we do the work to determine what's going to make life easier for ourselves and for others. And so we have to make the decision, a personal decision, to pivot from survive to thrive. And I know it sounds like an impossible feat right now, but it's something that you don't have to do by yourself. You don't have to navigate it by yourself. And there are tools and frameworks that we as women can embrace to actually pivot from survive to thrive. It just means that we have to make the decision and say yes to our yearnings to be healthy. Important reason number two, you want to prosper and be in good health. Right, women? If we're not healthy, how can we take care of our loved ones? How can we do the work that we do in the marketplace? How can we be strong and healthy for our self-image? It's very important that we find out what's blocking our happiness, that we face it and find steps to work at it so that we can prosper and be in good health for ourselves and for others. Another reason why it's important to know what's blocking your happiness these days is that you want to and you deserve to enjoy fulfilling relationships. Sure, as women, we're caregivers and we care for others. We don't mind doing it. We thrive doing it. But it's important also to be fulfilled in the task of caregiving, in the task of being in that intimate relationship, in the task of pursuing our careers. So you want to find out what's blocking your happiness right now because you deserve and you long for fulfilling relationships. You know, very often when I would look at those different reasons for pushing through and for doing the work to be self-aware and to examine and hope for possibilities, I call it happiness barriers or happiness blockers. I would always wonder, you know, why isn't it happening for me, right? Why isn't the career advancement happening for me? Why can't I have wonderful, intimate relationships that are long-term with someone who wants to grow with me and who even can help me and show me the way? And so these are longings that we have, and there's nothing wrong with us, and there's nothing wrong with the people that we love in our lives. What it is that we aren't equipped, we don't have clarity, we don't have focus. And so it means that we have to identify and bust through what I call happiness blockers, right? I call these things happiness blockers. And so I have a little campaign right now about busting through happiness blockers. That's one thing I've determined that has come out of the challenges in the past few years. And what are happiness blockers? Well, happiness blockers keep you feeling stuck. Do you feel stuck right now? Have you ever been stuck? I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like to set goals and to make plans and to change the way that I interact and to say, hey, I'm here to help, or hey, I can do that on my job. And yet nothing seems to happen. I don't get the recognition. I feel stuck. It's part of the human condition. but it doesn't mean it's something that we have to live with. More about happiness blockers. Happiness blockers fuel frustration, aggravation, conflict, and dissatisfaction. Even for those of us who go along to get along, we have to face it that there are times when there's frustration or aggravation. And very often when happiness is blocked, there's conflict. Conflict really is normal in our human condition, but when we don't expect it as something that's normal, and if we don't have the tools to deal with conflict or feelings of dissatisfaction, it sets up blockers to our happiness and we don't know what to do. And so we're unable to show up as our best self. We're unable to share and be our best self and the best role models for our children and those in the marketplace. Something else about happiness blockers, they prevent you from living your best life now. You know, that's not a slogan. Do you know it's actually possible to live the life that you want? Yes, you can live your best life now. I always loved the expression. I would dance it out when I would hear the songs, but I had to really walk through it myself. And the past few years really forced me to get with myself, right? To reflect and really determine, what is going to make me happy, even in a world that seems to be imploding, even in a time where there is a lot of conflict, because we're human, because we're whole, because we have gifts, because we have that desire to love and the yearning to love and to feel a part of something, right? To belong. It's important that we face our happiness blockers. And so that's what I did. And here's what I learned. I learned that when I turned toward my fears, turned toward my frustrations, began to sit with myself and become aware, began to examine ways of communication and understanding myself, I found out that knowing about my happiness blocker allowed me to target my own problems, and I began to investigate solutions. On that journey, then, when I learned about my happiness blocker, I was able to eliminate fear and overwhelm. It was so liberating. I didn't have to be afraid about my yearnings. I didn't have to be afraid that I had creativity to express. I didn't have to feel overwhelmed and think that maybe, this isn't going to happen for me, because I was able to sit and face it and eliminate my fears and eliminate overwhelm. One other thing that was a benefit of being able to face my happiness blocker was I was able then to navigate change and confront uncertainty. We're still navigating sea changes, and uncertainty continues to confront us in our daily lives. And so if we understand ourselves and how we operate, what might trigger us, and most importantly, what makes us happy on a day-to-day basis, the simple things on a day-to-day basis, it enables us to navigate change and confront uncertainty. Because you know what? The good news is you do have the ability to bust through your happiness blockers. There are 3 benefits to breaking through a happy life that I found. And the first one is that when you begin to confront and deal with those happiness blockers, your personal relationships improve. So even in a time period where I wasn't able to physically hang out with my friends and loved ones, I learned how to connect through Zoom. I learned how to share my heart. And the way I was able to share my heart was that I had to get real about what I wanted. I had to get real about what I needed. And I had to learn how to appreciate the personal relationships, those people in my life who care about me, to call and to send wonderful notes and to drop by and leave a present. I learned how to give and receive love and show appreciation. And I improved my personal relationships and enabled me to break through into more happiness. You know what was so surprising also about busting through my happiness blocker was, after serving many years in different careers as a teacher, as in the financial services profession, always longing to be able to help people and not knowing how to serve, I found out that I was able to see how multi-talented I was in many areas. And I wound up becoming a coach. How about that? So here I am now, working for myself in support of others, serving others. It's the ultimate win for me. And I did it because I faced the problems and blockers in my life. And so now I have improved personal fulfillment. It's not just because I've retired. It's not just because I'm older in life. I really am in touch with what makes me happy. I can sit and ask those questions without fear and overwhelm. And I'm finding that I'm more fulfilled on a personal basis day after day. So, yes, I have experienced a happier life, happier health, and wealth. So, I'd like to ask you right now, what's blocking your happiness? Do you really know? What's keeping you up at night? Are you sitting up thinking about relationships? Are you thinking about a stalled career? Have you launched a business that you want to get off the ground and you don't know what step to take? Or do you have an existing business that you'd like to scale and you just don't know how to take things to the next level? Well, those are things that I call happiness blockers. And I have a way to help you confront them and bust through the happiness blockers. So, how do you begin? I have a quiz that's called the What's Blocking Your Happiness quiz. And I have the links provided for you below. And it's going to give you some answers after you have answered some questions about what's blocking your happiness. And I have a free training also that will help you take the next steps. I want everyone, every woman who considers herself high achieving, mission minded, loving, developed. I want every woman and even every man who wants to experience happiness right now, get to it. I want you to pivot from survive to thrive. So I'm inviting you to take the quiz. I can't wait to see what you think about it. And thanks so much for joining me today. I'm here to help you transform yourselves and transform your lives and break through to happiness. So you can answer the question and know what's blocking your happiness in 2022 and take the steps to bust through those blockers into the life that you yearn for and the life that you deserve.